Hello, Jason Ruhl, District Conservationist for the Natural Resource Conservation Service. Been here in the Richland Soil and Water Conservation District office in the USDA Service Center for about 15 years now. Came here starting in June of 2008, so it's been an exciting ride so far. We've done a lot of conservation, and that's being very broad. We've worked with farmers, producers to implement waterways, nutrient management plans, waste storage structures, just to name a few. Pasture operations, trying to get pasture operations more familiar with rotation and proper grazing. Worked with the district on several of their events and partnering any way we can in the conservation aspect since we have similar goals. The relationship is, in my opinion, very strong compared to what I've seen in other districts. We have very similar goals. While the district still has urban responsibilities, they still have a passion for agricultural stuff as well. And what has drastically changed is the amount of staff since I first got here. First got here, the staff was limited in how much agriculture versus permits and regulatory department stuff that they had to do that was assigned to them. And so we've gotten to partner on different events such as the fair displays, different outreach, been able to supply pollinator posters for the pollinator festival that the district attends. Volunteers, we've been able to piggyback on some volunteers and doing some assistance that way. It's been quite a different change since 2008 just because of the number of staff. We've helped a few more landowners than maybe what we started with, but a lot of them are repeat customers and a lot of them are thirsty. I use the term thirsty for the knowledge. We also have financial programs, but a lot of them still want just the knowledge as well. The dollars isn't 100% the focus for all of them for the programs we have. And so it's been beneficial to see that. That also means that they're happy with the service they're getting if they're repeat customers coming in to get more information. The number's gone up a little bit, but not drastically that we've seen. So what does NRCS do is a very legit question that a lot of people ask. Even I have family members that ask, what is it you do? And so NRCS started with the Dust Bowl, and we provide conservation technical assistance. It's science-based, research-based, technical assistance from how to run proper grazing math to how many head they can carry to what size of storage they need to hold manure for a proper application, to soil test recommendations once they get soil tests and how often, how frequent, how to conserve soil, so what kind of rotations should they be maybe planting? Is that corn, bean, wheat, or just corn and beans? What type of rotations conserve more soil, if that is a concern they have? We also have responsibility with the Farm Bill to implement our department section of the Farm Bill and what's allocated to us by that in terms of what regulations there are and if they want to participate in the Farm Bill, implementing those rules and regulations that they must follow, which for some can get overwhelmed, and for others, it's just unfamiliar for new. So we spend the time explaining what it means, regardless of what it is, what hopefully the outcome will be. And we work with producers one-on-one. That's the nicest thing about our agency. If you request us to come out, we are volunteer-based with no enforcement in terms of legal enforcement type of stuff. So we work with participants on a volunteer base to implement different levels of conservation, technical assistance that they wish to see if we can offer. So the most popular program is probably through our Farm Bill. It is the Environmental Quality Incentives Program. We use the acronym EQIP, EQIP, and that's probably our most popular program just because from my understanding, again, I started in 2002, so I've been with the agency since then. That's the most common program that has probably been around the longest. There were other versions of the program, it sounded like when I talked to my colleagues that have been around longer, followed by the Conservation Stewardship Program. I guess our two top programs that we have, ag easement programs and wetland reserve programs to protect long-term because they're easement programs. But the Environmental Quality Incentives Program gives incentive dollars. If we can help identify, or the producer thinks they have a resource concern, we can maybe mirror up a conservation plan, which is what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, how they're going to implement it, with a practice that will help address that resource concern. The resource concern can be soil, water, human-related, energy-related, air-related. So we have another acronym that we call SWAPA plus H plus E. So all those letters stand for different resource concerns. And the H is obviously the human and the E is now the energy. A lot of people ask about costs for our services. Our services are free. Sometimes it's how much staff versus how many requests. So sometimes our getting to the field to visit the site may be a little longer than the participant would like, but all of our services are free. If it involves an engineer, we have engineers on staff, their services are free. Soil scientists we have on staff, they're free. So any of our staff are free. And when I say staff, they may not be locally positioned, but we have access to them. So here in Richland County, we currently have myself and a soil conservationist, Jordan Miller, but we have access to engineers and soil scientists. If we need them, their services are also free. We just have to coordinate with them to get here. The EQIP Environmental Quality Incentives Program is not to exceed a 10-year contract. And again, some of these rules change based on Farm Bill. And we write them to the shortest possible length that the producer or participant can implement the practice to address the resource concern. So sometimes we'll write the length of the contract 1 year beyond what they think they're going to have it done in. And the reason we do that is work with the producer, we plan with the producer their timeline. And so we want to make sure that timeline fits their goals, their purposes, because the dollar incentive doesn't change. So if prices go up or prices go down, they're locked to what we're willing to give them in a dollar incentive-wise. The Conservation Stewardship Program is a little different program. It's a little more upfront. Takes a little more time, participant and the producer and us. It looks at what resource concerns have you addressed. It's a 5-year contract with an annual payment based on the highest level of stewardship you're doing that we can document, and that the level that you agree to continue for the 5-year term of the contract. The stewardship program, you have to be the producer. You have to have the risk, so to speak. So unfortunately, if you're a land owner and not the land operator, there's some limitations to how you can enroll, but certainly you can encourage your land operator to enroll. So there are some limitations in both programs as to eligibility, and if producers get interested, I just encourage them to contact the office and we can walk them through the process. The amount of services or the types of services has by and large stayed pretty much the same. There's been a few services that the district's been able to implement, like soil testing. We weren't really promoted maybe as hard. It was done before, but maybe not promoted as hard. Again, it wasn't important, it's just priorities and the way things go that way. Probably now with having a soil con, we can return requests maybe a little faster because there's 2 of us trying to get with producers and follow up instead of 1. And so probably our timeliness has gotten a little faster from both NRCS side and the soil and water side just because of additional staff. But in terms of the mission, conservation, that hasn't changed since I've been here since 2008.